Hi, my name's Sasha Collin. I'm a herbalist, a naturopath and a mother of two, and I'm living in France. Today is a beautiful sunny day, so I'm going to take you outside and show you in the garden where you can find the dandelion. The dandelion is edible and it's absolutely everywhere at the moment, so it's the perfect opportunity to go out there and to show you also some other flowers that look kind of similar so that you can learn how to differentiate between the two. Off we go! Here you can see the lawn and you can just see the little yellow heads of the dandelions. I'm going to go a little bit closer so you can get a little look closer up. Here you can see a really good example of a big dandelion, and there's one next to it as well. I'll zoom in a little bit. You can see the kind of shape that it's forming in the grass. Hello, so I've got my dandelion here on the ground. I don't know if you can't see it very well, but I'm going to show you. So first of all, you've got the leaves, which are shaped in a basal rosette, which means they're spread out in a kind of circular form, coming off the base. So none of the leaves come off the stem, they come all off the base. And they are at the top of a central taproot, which is long and which goes down like that. You've then got the flower heads, which are sort of closing now as the sun's going down. Here is another one. And they are edible. The flowers are edible, the leaves are edible, and the roots are edible too. So that's the little flower head, and you'll find that they all come off one singular stem. There's no branched pieces coming off the stem, no other little branches, and there's no other flower heads on one stem. The stem is hollow, and if you snap it, you'll see there's a milky white latex substance which is inside. So that's also a little indicator that it's a dandelion. The leaves, you'll see here, are this shape. And they've kind of got toothed-edged or lobes, so they're sometimes more rounded and sometimes quite toothed like that. They're delicious steamed or eaten raw in spring, because in spring they're not very bitter yet. In autumn, if you wait until the end of the year, they start to become quite bitter and not so tasty. The leaves can also be dried and made into teas, as well as the flowers. Let me pick this one. So you can pick the flower heads, and early in the morning after the dew has dried, it's the best time to do your harvesting, and you can sprinkle the flower petals onto salads. You can also dry them and put them in teas, or put them into oil to make salves with. So that's great to know. And then also you've got the little buds like this. So before they've opened, you can also eat them. They look like that. In France they sometimes steam them and then put vinaigrette on them and eat them, and that's really delicious. Otherwise I've heard of people pickling them. That's another way you can preserve the little buds there. When they are finished, when the flowers have gone over, they turn into those big puff balls that you can blow. Like we used to count the time on them by blowing, see how many puffs it takes to blow them all off, and that used to be the time. So that's what they look like when they've finished. So if you see a flower that looks like this, but with branching pieces coming off, with other flower heads coming off the main central stem, you'll know it's not a dandelion. So I'll show you one of those in a minute to see and compare them so that you know what you're picking. So you've got leaves like this, and then you've got more rounded leaves like this. You see the difference. Okay. This you can see is clearly not dandelion, because it's got a stem which branches off into three different little mini stems with flowers attached to the top. This is something else. Also you can see that here as well. See? There's three flowers coming off that stem. That is not a dandelion. And at the bottom you've got leaves like that, which are quite similar, but they're a bit more rough. They've got some sort of texture to them. And also if you break this, let's see if you've got the milky sap. Oops, you got out of focus. There is a little bit of milky sap there, but it's not the same as a dandelion at all. Okay. You'll find dandelions like to grow everywhere. Here is a very tiny, compact one I found on the side of the path, growing very flat against the floor. I wouldn't necessarily pick this one because it's a bit close to where we walk. And I will show you where else I found them popping up all over the garden. And here is another one growing in my plant pot. And here, growing on the gravel. And finally, here is one growing with all the little buds closed in a flower bed that's full of stones and rubble. So you can see they grow pretty much everywhere apart from literally on top of a stone. So anyway, I hope this has been useful, and I will see you next time for more identification, foraging and herbal medicine facts on little plants growing all around us in the garden.